Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show, presented by Mel Hambelton. Hey, this is different.
It is different. Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning, everybody. And hey, Darren, thanks for hanging out with us another hour. Got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about there too. But for those of you just tuning in, I'm sitting in Hays, Kansas, and we've got some new technology. We tested it out yesterday and it worked very well. I was nervous as you know what this morning to make sure it was going to work again. But hey, it's looking like it's working great. So Josh, we should have done this a long time ago.
It's a long time coming, and glad we're venturing into this. It gives us a lot of different opportunities for sure as well. So I guess if you're listening or watching, call in, tell us, gives us a thumb up on the chat, or holler at us, let us know how it is on that end. So.
Yeah, love to hear how you're seeing it. The other thing is how you're hearing our volumes. Are we sounding good and clear and all that good stuff? It sounds like it is, but
you're a little rusty. I don't know. Me and Darren, we're.
Oh, really? Okay. Hey, Josh, you ever heard my horse and buggy story?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I've heard it. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you have. Anyway, everybody, this is a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Morning, Delbert. Glad you're tuning in as always. Did you get your stickers? What I want to know before they're on your car. So anyway, call-in show, 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world, anything you want to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. And that call will come right in the front desk, and only show I know you get paid to call in on. And as always, Josh, what's in that package valued at over $130?
So we're going to send it out to you, but it's going to be the Works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on the vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on the vehicle. Again, just making sure that everything's safe and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the big corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then BG Products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting that thing geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So got a special guest with us here today. So I'll introduce Darren Colvert for USD 259 and Wichita South. He's the automotive instructor for down there. And so today, I think we're going to have a show about automotive or shop class or whatever you want to call it, or if there was just a special teacher that played a role in your upbringing or life, or if you've got a story to share on that. I know I've got one that I want to share. I'm guessing Phil's got one that he wants to share, and Darren, I bet you even have one.
Nope, not me.
Want to share it there. So hey, call in 316-462-3673 and let's hear from you about shop class incidents. It doesn't have to be automotive specific, but if it is, that's great too. I know mine is. So Darren, thanks for hanging out with us for the hour and joining us. And then also we've got a little friendly competition coming up, and we're going to talk a lot about that as well. So
Darren, it's really cool that what you're doing over there at the school and stuff, helping these young kids. Hey, I got to interrupt just for a minute, Josh. I don't want to touch anything on my computer and mess anything up, but
okay.
Every time an email comes in or whatever, I got this little doo-doo. Are you hearing that?
We are not.
Okay, good. So scared me to death. Checking out this new technology, make sure, because every time I get an email, it hits that on my computer, and I want to turn the volume down, but then I'm scared my volume's going to go down. We'll jack it up, so I don't want to mess with anything. But glad you're not hearing that. Okay, good.
So far, not doing it. So.
All right, so still want to hear from people. Just put it in the chat. How do we sound? How do we look? All that good stuff. We're trying this new technology. Love to hear from you. But anyway, Darren, it's cool what you're doing over there at your school and teaching these young kids and stuff. And we're going to get into also the Mel Hambelton Auto Spa, the open house there. And I had at the open house over there, we had a young gentleman, 14 years old, come up and talk to me. And guess what he wants to be? A technician.
Yep.
And so I told him, I said, you're doing this right. You're planning right now. You're getting it's the right time in your life. If that's what you want to do, you're planning. You need to get a plan. I said, if you'd love to sit down with us, we would get you a plan and everything else like that too, Darren. And I thought of you. I don't know. I think he's in Andover School District is where he's at right now, but I don't know what it takes to get him to your class or whatever. But he's a 14-year-old gentleman. That's what he wants to do. He wants to work on cars and fix cars, and went down memory lane with me a little bit there Thursday night, what I went through and all that kind of stuff too. So it's just excited how we partner together, Darren. I'm excited for this competition from that part too. So I'm going to let you guys kind of talk about the competition, what we're going to do, and how it's going to work.
So we went down and visited both classes here this last week and kind of introduced what we're going to be doing and kind of laid down some rules. Of course, we did a competition a little bit similar last year with a tire mounting and balancing and getting it on the car and stuff like that, and that went over huge. I mean, I think it went over very well. And, for it being the first time around, you want to sit and think of everything and make sure that, because I can guarantee you, people are going to find the loopholes or ask that simple question that you're thinking, wow, we never even thought of that. And so, we decided to go with the works competition, just with that being the main service that every consumer is gonna have, every vehicle needs at the 5,000 mile mark. And so we decided to go with the works competition, but then also with a multi-point inspection. So I don't know, Darren laid down some ground rules in his class. You've got what, about 21 students, I think you said?
Just about, yeah, a little over 20 students, and within those students, I opened it up to all of them. Now, not all of them are going to participate as a competitor, but I did have, I think, 12.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to narrow those down.
Yeah.
And I made up a points type of system within our own shop and said, all right, now every one of our Ford certifications are going to be worth some points. So, and of course, through Ford Motor Company, we have some certifications that they can get online and take those certifications, and a lot of them have accumulated quite a bit. So between them and the partner that they're going to, the Tech A, Tech B partner they're going to do this with, some of them accumulated quite a bit of points. So
just in that
piece
portion of it.
And then I opened up some other things. So that inspection that you were talking about, if they do one of those inspections in any car that comes into the bay or whatever car we have, they'll get some points for that. Looking up some specs on our online manual, they can get some points for that. So there's quite a bit there that opens it up for every one of them, and I think we're getting narrowed down to the top 4 teams.
Are you? Okay. Yeah, that was kind of the plan, is we were going to take 4 teams. But we had spoke, quite a bit with the class, just in regards to, obviously the oil change is a very simple service. And everybody thinks, getting into this industry and stuff, like I'm above that or don't want to do that. But, it's so important to the consumer that it's done properly. It's done right. If they can't trust you for an oil change, I mean, Phil, you've said this on multiple occasions, is if they can't trust you for the basics, the basics of service, they're not going to trust you for that heavier repair and stuff like that. And so we spent a lot of time, talking about the multi-point and how important it is, and the value that it brings to a customer, and trying to emphasize that on these students of the importance of that multi-point inspection and what that does for a consumer, and thinking about it from the consumer side of it and not just the technician side of it, and basically kind of going through and pencil whipping an inspection.
Hey guys, real quick, the other thing I've been sitting here as I'm listening to you thinking is, there might be some listeners don't know what the works is. I think we ought to tell them, what this project, what that is. We know what it is because it's our terminology, and kind of the multi-point inspection too. I think everybody kind of got an idea what that is, but I'm sure you guys have set up some, like you said, Darren, you set up some ground rules and stuff like that too. But I think we ought to tell everybody what is the works. What I'm saying?
And so there's a lot of things that go in addition to it, and that's why we'll go over kind of some of the rules that we set as far as steps that if they aren't taken, that it's going to increase their time overall or not. But essentially the works is the main things to the works is the oil change. So changing the oil, changing the filter, and then the tire rotation. But then in addition to that, so I'll just kind of go through the rules that we have laid down there. But essentially, it'll be a timed event, and then the fastest team will win, and then so forth and so on based on time. The vehicle will start racked with the lift pads touching the bottom of the vehicle but not raised, and then the work to be completed is changing the oil, rotate the tires, and completing a multi-point inspection. There's going to be 1 minute added to your time for each of the following steps that are missed. And so we have to start out with look up the oil weight. So what weight of oil the vehicle takes. Look up the oil quantity. So how much oil, the capacity of the engine and filter. Then look up the wheel torque specs. So those are all specifications that they're going to have to find on the software that they use on a day-to-day basis in the automotive class. And the reason that we decided that this was important is because they need to know where to go to find those things. It's not so much that the answer, it's that where to go to look the answer. And again, going back to, go ahead there, Phil.
Yeah, I'm going to say so they're not going to know what car it is until they get there?
So I went ahead and gave it to them. I went ahead and
Okay.
told them exactly what year, make, and model of car they were
Okay.
going to
Okay.
do. And so I told them it'd be, because I couldn't narrow it, exactly down, but I told them it'd be anywhere from a 20 to a 22 Ford Escape.
Okay.
Now, even in that realm, there's a couple of engine options, to choose from, and then there would be a couple different wheels. So they're not going to know that specific information, but I did go ahead and give them that information just so they can be practicing where to go find that and know what to look for on that side of it.
So we're going to make them torque the wheels too, like they're supposed to, correct?
Yeah, so we'll provide all the tools for everything. So everything they'll need will be laid out, and we are going to use the air impacts with the torque sticks. But then there is going to be a final torque with an actual manual torque wrench. Got to hear the click, from that side. So
not the. Drrr.
Yeah, not the so there'll be a torque wrench that'll be provided as well, and then we've actually went ahead and just so they can practice and get familiar with the components and location, I've taken a vehicle down to his class so that the class can trying to give them all the advantages in the world and make sure that the people that want to go do this can be successful at it for sure. And so additionally, along with those specs that they're going to have to look up, we put on a couple of other things in there that are just maybe more so common mistakes that we see, happen on a day-to-day basis. And that is making sure that the oil change sticker is replaced up in the windshield for the consumer, because so the oil change sticker and then resetting the oil life monitor, because that's two things that we see on a day-to-day basis in this industry that, we could do all the best, have the best intentions, the greatest job in the world. And if a customer leaves here and there's not an oil change sticker up there, or it's wrong, or the date's wrong, or an oil life monitor comes on, a month or two down the road, what's the first thing that the customer thinks? That you didn't
get that oil change.
Yeah. And if you didn't do that, what else did you not do? And so it's in the details, and that's what we were trying to convey to the students as well.
Mm-hmm.
Every car I get into, that's, the first thing I do when I get in the car, I look right up in that upper left-hand corner of the windshield and see if it's due for an oil change or not. Every car. I don't know what it is about why I do what I do.
Yep. And so we've got those two. We'll dock a minute's time if those aren't completed. And then the last two is topping off all the rest of the fluids and making sure that, making sure that all the other fluid capacities are topped off. And then checking tire pressures and, adjusting or inflating to the proper specified pressure. And so, again, all of those items I mentioned would add an additional minute to their time if they were not completed. And then so said between and then on the multi-point inspection itself, we said that we even gave them a number just to make sure, but we're going to go through and bug these vehicles, and there's going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 items on these cars that they're going to have to document on the multi-point inspection and find out what's failed, but then also it's in the documentation, and we were stressing that quite a bit with the students as well.
Yep. You said it. All the above. I don't with the works. I mean, I wonder, and I question this is when customers come in and they request this, or it's something how much goes into it, if they know how much.
Oh yeah, no, the typical consumer doesn't.
Yeah, it's a big service. Like it takes us, and we're training, of course.
Sure.
We're trying to narrow that time down, but I mean, most of the time, and I know we talked to you and Kelly that said 20 minutes is 16 to 20 minutes is that time frame for that.
Yeah, really that portion or that time frame is maybe not so much to complete the service, but to get the multi-point completed, so it's in the advisor's hands, so then they can update the customer on the status of what's going on and stuff. And so it's not the whole service within that time. And really, Darren, you hit the nail on the head over the conversation that we had at the classroom. Is it's not your job for speed. It's not your job to teach these student speed. It's more about accuracy and what to do, how to do it, the proper procedure, stuff like that. The speed, they'll pick that up with the repetition, from that side of it. So
that's what we're training is to be 100% on this. That's our goal. And if they hit every point of that multi-point inspection and they hit every point of the service, then they won't miss anything.
Yeah.
And like I said, the speed will come later. And with routine and, constantly doing the same job, hopefully that speed will come with that experience.
Yep, very much so. So we've got a caller we're getting patched through, and we'll see what Matthew has to say. But I'm very excited. Again, we've talked to the different classes, and I hope that was kind of an inspiration to them. And then we'll talk a little bit more after we get the caller patched through about what's in it for the students and what they get out of the deal for sure. So let's go to the phones and talk to Matthew. Matthew, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're doing great.
That's good to hear.
What have we got going on today, or do you have a shop experience that you want to talk about, or you got something going on with your vehicle, or?
So, I have a quick question. I drive a 2007 Ford Focus ST.
Okay.
And whenever I'm driving like highway speeds, so anything above like 55, I've noticed like a rattling in the back of the car. It's like a high-pitched squeaking, and it's pretty loud. Just not sure what exactly that would be.
Okay, and is it does it have to be over bumps or anything, or just flat going down the highway?
Flat, just completely flat.
And it's like a rotational noise, or is it just consistent all the time, or?
It's consistent on the highway, but I don't notice it when I'm going in town. I don't know.
So
there's anything to do with that.
I would wonder. I mean, there's a lot of different things that it could be. I'm wondering about a body panel with a wind noise, or that it has to have the air rushing across it. I'm wondering about a wheel bearing and just the speed of the vehicle is what's making it happen. But it's got to be 55 or above.
Yeah, somewhere around that range.
Okay. There's a lot of different things that could be going on. For purpose of diagnostic, it's going to be pretty tough to say over the phone. But what I would do, I'm going to throw a diagnostic onto your package, and just for calling into the show, we'll send it out with you. Be more than happy to go for a spin with you, and you can we can listen to it with you and hear exactly what's going on with it and get it narrowed down from there. But we'll throw a diagnostic onto your package at no charge to you and take a look at that thing and see exactly what's going on with it and making that noise. The last thing you want it to be is something like a wheel bearing or something that'd be unsafe to be driving around on for sure. So that's that vehicle making the noise. That's its way of talking to you, telling you that there's something's not right,
Yep. Thank you.
So we'll get that diagnostic added onto your package as well, and take a look at that thing, see exactly what's going on with you. So do you have did you take shop in high school of any kind?
I have taken shop, but I didn't have anything really exciting happen.
Nothing?
I mean,
Nothing he wants to tell, Josh.
I mean, yeah, welding classes, nothing but burnt fingers, and then woodworking. Got a couple of kickbacks on the miter saw, but
you still have all your fingers in that deal, so
I do.
Yeah, well, very good. And what's the worst burn you got on a welding class?
Honestly, just a pretty small blister. That for me, other people I think had it a bit worse.
Yeah,
just touching hot metal.
Sometimes those are the best lessons.
Well, yeah, it's hot, so I can. Yeah.
Well, take a long look at it.
Yeah. Well, very good. We'll get that diagnostic added onto your package and take a look at that Focus at no charge to you and see if we can figure out what's going on with your squeak. So, all right.
Yep. Awesome. Another quick question.
Okay.
So, instead of mailing that coupon out, can I just come in later today and get it done, or?
Yeah, you could do that. When we get off the air here, I will get you a call back and we'll get it set up as well.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Perfect. You have a good rest of your day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thanks. So yeah, welding class. I didn't even think about that. I can remember we had class in Haven. I think it was ag. Yeah, It was ag. But anyways, I remember I just walked up and there was a group of guys standing around this bench and there was some metal. I think they were welding metal tubing or something like that. Well, nobody. I mean, I just assumed that they had just walked over to the bench and I reached down and just picked up the pipe and I was gonna just mess around with it or have it in my hand or whatever. And they had just got done welding on it. It was hot. Yeah, I remember that to this day, specifically. So
that's a good lesson.
You just don't randomly pick up crap,
especially in a welding shop.
So, yeah, I do remember that for sure. So, but anyways, kind of going back to the competition and where we're at and what we were talking about there. But yeah, I really do think it'd be good. I hope that it was inspirational for the students to experience that. But then in addition to when we perform this competition, so it's actually going to happen on April 20th here at the dealership. We're dividing the class into two different sections. And so when the groups are actually not competing, they're going to be one-on-one shadowing our technicians. So half the day half the class will spend at the main store, and then the second half of the day they'll be at Quick Lane, and then vice versa. So everybody will get the experience of main store or Quick Lane, which I'm super excited for them to be able to just experience that difference. And then also just the one-on-one time with a technician so they can ask questions. Right. It's when you get in a classroom setting and stuff like that, I think maybe some people are afraid of asking maybe the dumb question or, I don't know what your experience is with that, but.
Yeah, I think that, the competition is cool, but getting to actually get out there with some of those techs and learn and watch them go, I think is another invaluable lesson that they're gonna get out of that day too. And of course I open it up for everybody. So the ones that are not competing, they're coming for that piece.
Yeah.
So some of them are on the fence, about it. I know not every student that's coming through my door is going to be doing this for a career, but there may be one or two that this may
push them one way or the other.
That might.
And I don't know. And, I think Phil's on the same page of this, but for me, it's about identifying what somebody that is in high school or middle school, the sooner they know what their passion is and where their direction is, I think that's invaluable. I just hate seeing somebody go out and spend several hundreds or thousands of dollars on college, and then they get out of college, go to whatever career field it is they're looking at, and then just decide, this isn't for me. That's too late. So the earlier we can identify that, the better off they're going to be long term in life on everything.
Agree.
I can tell you so many situations of friends, acquaintances that I've ran into that have went on to a certain career and as soon as they come out of college or whatever, that's not what they're doing. They're not. They didn't go for their career or whatever, for what they went to school for or whatever from that part. And I'm telling you that I wish we had a whole bunch of school principals and counselors and teachers listening, because this is not what it was when I went to tech school. These trade schools is where it's at. What these kids have to offer, and it's not a downgrade, because I was looked down on because I went to a VOTech school back in the 80s. That's not how it is today. We got to change the perception of these schools for these kids.
Absolutely. I think that we're starting to see a trend with that, especially in the last decade or so, that students are seeing the value of, I guess, the career tech area, and knowing that there's a lot of opportunity out there as far as, doing something that you love and getting paid to do it. And besides just going to the traditional 4-year school and going into this huge amount of, like you said, college debt. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I know that I got students that will do that. I know it sounds bad coming from this point, but there are some students that are going to be successful that route too.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, like Phil was saying, back in the, in those days, I'm not going to say early days, Phil, but
that's all right. Go ahead.
In those early days, that was like, well, if you can't do college, you got to do this. But I think now it's everybody has this opportunity. It's an opportunity for all of them, not just like, oh, you can do this, but which is something that we're seeing that trend change, and most recently, especially. So,
and for me, I guess it's more about just identifying whatever that is.
Yep,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a technician, if you want to, whatever it is, but just the quickest point to get from A to B, that's what it's about, and not, the wandering side of it. And so, excuse me, that's where I think it's huge to be able to get these students out here and in the field for a day, or to be a part of this competition, to be, I really don't think this is for me, or man, this is really intriguing, and grow that thirst to want to learn more about it and be a part of it, or identify early that, nah, this isn't for me, and I'm going the other way,
Greg Murray just put up here too about how there's a lot of teachers that have a lot of support for career technical training. And Greg, I know there is, and we just need a lot more to keep moving that direction and that sort of thing too. So appreciate that too. Hey, how about Josh? How about Rex's comment there on the zip tie?
There's another guy that got zip tied to a pole in the shop, and so what I'm thinking is, because he didn't call in, I think it might have been him that got zip tied to it, because he didn't want to call in.
Story?
Explain how that happened. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm not throwing accusations out there.
Too funny.
So what's your VOTech story, or trade school story there, Phil?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have none. I was just
Nothing?
No, I got a lot.
So I will tell you, one that I remember. I mean, I got a lot too, but one I remember very vividly, and I can assure you, just about everybody in the class would too. Went to as part of high school, if you had decent grades, you could the second half go to a technical college, and I obviously did automotive, and went up there, and so had the instructor. It was towards the end of the senior year, but I had bought a motorcycle, and it was a I don't know, it was like a 84 Honda Shadow or something. And it was rough. It was a decent bike, but it was rough. And I pulled it up in there and I was working on it one day. And the instructor said, man, it has been forever since I've rode a motorcycle. And I said, well, go ride it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so he took it out and he rode it, and he was gone for a little while, and he left the class. I don't know. I think the statute of limitations has run out on that part, but anyways, left the class. Well, he come back and he pulled up. It was a pretty steep incline for the slope of the garage, but so he pulled up in the shop, and then when he pulled it in the shop, hit that just real smooth concrete and grabbed that front brake and laid it over right in front of the whole class. And I can't imagine still this day that he's probably lived that down. I'm sure that went from class to class to class on how that happened. But yeah, I know for a fact didn't live it down with our class or group, but it was funny. Didn't hurt the bike, but boy, his pride, I know, had to hurt pretty bad.
I bet.
Okay, now Rex says there's some shorter fellow we know, Josh. I wonder who that is.
Oh.
Have some ideas on that one too.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
There you go. Okay. So yeah, that was one of my stories, from Votech as well. But I mean, I remember getting a part of, and for me, it's all about the atmosphere and what gets people involved in this. And I think a lot of times, or it was back in my day, is just the desire to like racing or go faster or souped up cars, or is what gets a lot of people into this industry. And so I don't know, you've got a program going on down there. What do you got going on there to help encourage these kids into this?
From aside from the traditional type of stuff, we have we built an enduro car in the shop. So we had a couple of acquaintances that we knew had built one, and they banged it up pretty good, and they asked if we would take it apart, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great for us. Bring it in, we'll check it out. And you could just see the kids like go right to this thing, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I mean, kids, I was thinking, oh, there's no way this is gonna work for them, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh, this is gonna be it. So it was that spark, it was that thing that got a few interested. So I went, we got to get a car. And a buddy of mine, he's also a security guard there. I mentioned it to him, and then from there it was over. It was like, all right, we got to get a car. Because he was an old racer too, and kind of pulled him out of retirement and
took off like wildfire.
So we built a crazy cruiser out of a 1989 Ford LTD, and built a Windsor we had laying around and threw in there, and
so explain what a crazy cruiser is.
So a crazy cruiser, because racing's not hard enough or challenging enough. So it has two drivers. We got a gas person that runs the gas pedal, and then the person that runs the steering wheel and the brake.
That's awesome. So the question is, and we can put this out there to the viewers too. Would you prefer gas or steering? You want the gas and brake, or you want the steering?
I want the gas.
Yeah, and I can tell you for a fact that I'm going to put that steering guy in a bind, and he's going to figure it out. So what are you? Are you?
I'm the gas.
Are you the gas? Yeah.
Yeah. By the time because an enduro race is like 150 laps.
Dang.
So this car's got to hold up, and we try to keep it out of the wall and out of the other cars, and they're trying to keep it up, but it's really a survival of the finish. And we get a little rowdy, and he'll be like telling me to stop, it's like stop, and we communicate that way. Sometimes it's a hand to the chest that's like, you gotta stop, but it's fun. It's a blast, and the kids get to see the start and finish of a product.
Yeah.
And I think that was the bigger thing. And it's no rush on it. They only have a couple of those races a year. So we got like 6 months span between each race, and we
That's
tear
very
it
cool.
up.
Yeah. In
So
between.
once it's done, and really one race is almost a season for most race cars, because it's
150 laps. Yeah. By that time, I would assume that the two drivers are getting probably pretty in sync by the end of the deal, as far as what you would think. Maybe, I don't know.
We do. The last race was just a couple weeks ago, and we did okay. I mean, it was I think there was like 30, 35 cars, and we took ninth. We finished. That was our goal. We didn't want to tear it up too bad, but just wanted to get to the finish line, and we did. We finished all 100. We got 141 laps out of 150. So I think we call that a success.
That's a win. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what happened at the 141st lap?
Well, barely made it across the line. It was running on like 6 cylinders by that time.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, just it rolled on the trailer. Didn't have to pop any tires.
Well, that's
yeah.
If you can drive it on the trailer at the end of that deal, you're doing pretty good.
Didn't have to have the tractor push it up on the trailer, so that was it was easy to get in and out. Yep.
You think you're a gas pedal guy though, Phil?
No doubt.
Yeah. Just leave it to the steering guy to figure it out.
Hey, Darren, I'll throw another loop in this little story here too. If you
Okay.
want, if we got some students that are really interested, that's why I'm sitting out here in Hayes. I'm out here at the Hayes dirt track with our A mod and stuff. So if you've got some guys, because I'm telling you, I'm always looking for guys that want to help us on the car or whatever. If they want to come to a race, or they want to come be on the pit crew, or they just want to come watch in the pits or whatever, I'd entice them, invite them anytime they want to come and get involved or whatever. I can always put a little duties in their hands or something like that too.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's another piece of our little teams that get to be in the pit, and that's I don't know, the icing on the cake. They're part of that whole pit crew thing. And like I said, sometimes they have a lot of work, sometimes they don't, and hopefully they don't, because it can get beat up pretty bad out there. But yeah, I think to have a even feel for those A mods and stuff, gosh, that would be a big deal for them too, to see the big boys go, for sure.
Just those cars make and everything else. Yep.
Absolutely.
So what's your story about shop class? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
I mean, our shop
so
class.
Did you take an automotive
class?
Was
small town.
Where at?
Pratt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Went to Pratt.
And one of my instructors is still out there, and making that program still as good as it was. And we did have high school, and then we kind of transitioned to the college piece as well, so we could go out there. And I think that was kind of the whole point, is getting out there, getting away from school. But I don't know. I have any like special stories that I can remember. I know I made a lot of friends in those classes, that some of them, you still talk to today. And I probably would have never met them without being in those same interest classes. Yeah. But a lot of cool stuff. I remember building like these little CO2 race cars, and that was like in middle school, I think, even. But everybody was like taking the little files and trying to get the little edge on their car, People were like weighing the wood blocks out and trying to get the lightest one. I mean, I think that was like the spark.
Just how to make it faster.
Yeah. And that wasn't, like I said, 8th grade, and these things were wood cars. There wasn't nothing, but man, we were going all out even then.
So I think they always say racing wasn't a thing until the second car was invented.
Yeah. That's the truth.
And then it took off from there, for sure. So, I will say that for all instructors or teachers from that side of thing, I mean, it definitely takes a special person to be able to do that. I think I could teach one class. I don't think I could do it year after year, day in and day out. And when I say that, like just being able to start back over every time,
right?
That definitely is. It takes a special person to be able to do that. And then also, when you have a class of 20, not everybody's on the same field. Not everybody has the same knowledge or picks things up the same, and I would think that would be amplified, especially when you get into automotive.
It's the skill, yeah, is at the top of the scale and down here, and I try to pair those two up,
Yeah.
and team them up, and hopefully they'll learn a little bit from those, and that's kind of my method to that madness. Basically, makes it easier to let the kids kind of take over and teach the ones that may not know as much as the next one.
Have got, and it's, for what I see, is more, sometimes it's not necessarily about just going over the material, but it's just exposure to it.
Yep.
Exposure and length of time, and some people get it right off, and some people it takes a little longer to do. And I'm on the advisory board for a couple of different well, you guys as well, but pretty much at any of those meetings, I'm always talking about electrical. You can never have enough knowledge on the electrical side of things, just with the way these vehicles are heading and all the different modules and communications, and it transfers to so many other realms of diagnosis. But if you do not have a good understanding of an electrical diagram or system, it just becomes so much more complicated, for sure.
Right. Yeah, we spend a lot of time on electrical all throughout every single level, just to get them exposed to that piece, because it's a little bit daunting and scary to some people, because they've always been said, hey, this is hard, this is real hard, but try to make it as simple as I can, and at least get them used to it, and then maybe it won't be as bad when they actually have to perform that task or do that. So just getting them used to it is one of the big pieces of it, and then from there they're like, oh well, this isn't so bad, and then hopefully it continues to get, they want to do more of it,
become more and more interested in it,
and
or
be a little more
involved in it.
receptive to learning it, for sure.
So the ACE program that Ford provides to you, as far as I've go into a lot of these high school automotive classes or vocational classes and stuff like that, and it's sad, but a lot of times you see really older equipment, as you guys
Yeah.
side of, I think that's been a huge improvement. But how much value, I guess, is this ACE program and the web-based training that's new? I guess the latest has out there played an impact in what you're doing with the students.
To put industry relevancy to it is huge. Everything that we're doing is trying to mimic or get them prepared for that industry piece. So to have an industry, a national, world renowned, like Ford, come in and say, hey, we're going to open this up to the high schools. It was a big deal, because we kind of did it, in the college realm, but to go down to that level it's invaluable.
Yeah.
We can't say enough of how much it's helped us out. And we got a couple cars from you guys through that program, to work on those newer late model vehicles and getting used to, just seeing how things are similar to the older stuff and how much different it is with the newer stuff. So again, it's all about trying to get them a little bit of this, so they're not as overwhelmed, and they come in with some preconceptions of how difficult this stuff is, but they can also take it in baby steps and kind of learn it, and then say, hey, this isn't so bad. Maybe I can do this stuff. So, and that's what the Ford thing has really opened up with the certifications and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. And it's online, and they can get those in their tangible certifications.
Yeah, that actually boost them if they were to make a transition into the industry. It's the same certifications that they would be taking if they were employed with us.
And I make a point of that, because I'm like, man, when I was out there, I had to do this at home
Yeah.
or in the back room in the computer, the lone computer in the back room in the shop, and had to do this on my own time. And you guys are getting these things opened up. It's the same. Josh, it's the same narrative. It's the
Yep.
same voice that we heard back then. I'm like, oh my gosh! The first time I opened one up, I'm like, I recognize that voice. I don't know, but it's all that same stuff that we did coming into this world, and it's pretty cool to have them have that same opportunity as a high school student. I try to emphasize that, it's coming from me that they see every day, but having you and Kelly come out was, that just reiterates it even more to hear it from somebody else.
He's not just telling us that he wants us to do this.
Right.
Hey, we're going to go back to the phones and talk to Jordan. Jordan, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
I'm good. Hey, did you get those gloves back to Brandon?
I think so. Let me say this. I delegated that.
Okay, because I was hoping you got them back before he noticed.
He noticed. He noticed.
Oh, you let me down. You let me down.
What did he notice? What happened to the gloves, Jordan?
Nothing. I left them over at the detail shop, and I forgot to put them back in the kitchen. And those are his gloves, so he doesn't burn his hands. So they're kind of important.
This morning I seen him. He was walking around with a big old ace bandage on his hand. I don't know, something about burning himself.
The important thing is we need to move past it. We need to just move past it. He's got his gloves back.
I think we need more details here is what I think.
That's the details. I left the gloves at the auto shop. I was too mesmerized by the McLarens and the Lamborghinis that I forgot my gloves.
I'd like to know why you had Brandon's gloves.
So I didn't burn my hands. They're like big, giant oven gloves. They're like these huge. It's a long story. Either way, that's not what we're getting. We're getting off target here.
I don't think we are. You started the conversation, so we're just trying to get all the details.
Hey, Jordan, do you?
The details are.
Go ahead.
The details are I borrowed the gloves. I forgot to take them back. My fault. That's all the details.
That's all of them. So, hey, do you have you have a shop class story? You are the shop class story.
I don't have I've probably got 100 shop class stories, but I was more calling about the cruiser aspect of things.
Yes.
Because I do have some experience with that. And
so, are you a gas and brake guy, or are you the steering guy?
I was both. I was the steering guy, and I reached over and I grabbed his leg, and I shoved it to the floor and operated the gas too, because I couldn't, I had to micromanage that. I couldn't let him be in charge of the gas. It was a bad deal. We crashed.
Somehow, I think you were in a dream.
No, this actually happened. Ask Nick Ballman.
Was Nick your gas guy?
No, Nick kind of brokered the deal. It's a lot. Like it's quite the deal. Let me tell you that. So, and as someone that's raced a sprint car and a modified and some of the top level dirt track cars, the scariest thing I have ever driven is that cruiser. Because I will tell you this. You're going faster than you think.
Yeah.
Stuff is falling off of it all the time. There's engine heat coming through the firewall. The guys that you race against, they're not afraid to die. I mean, they're insane. It's like I said, I would take a sprint car or a modified over that thing any day of the week. It was terrifying.
So what is the I guess the name of the class when you got a driver?
Cruisers.
Okay, so every cruiser crazy cruisers. So I think, and there may be a series for this already, there needs to be a husband and wife series of that. How would that work out, Phil? Barry in there with you.
Not.
I'm just saying it wouldn't go very good my way either. Okay, in that situation, would you want to be you'd still want to be the gas guy, I'm guessing. I'd have to be gas guy. Husband and wife series. Would you want to be the gas guy or the brake guy or the steering guy?
I know I'd want my wife to be the gasser. She's got that thing pegged all the time
Oh,
on
really?
a regular car, so we never know. We might.
Yeah, we wouldn't be going anywhere if Lisa was a gasser.
I want to be the not divorced guy. So whichever one she wants to do, that's fine, honey. That's you. It's all you.
Gotcha. So
I
how
feel
did
like Phil and Mary walk back in the house and the golden retrievers cover their eyes with a paw because they knew they were about to fight. They just put the paw right over there.
So what ended your career as a cruiser driver?
The wall.
Oh, okay.
The wall.
We hit the wall hard, and it hurt. We were going the opposite way, too. They flip a coin. They don't always turn left. They flip a coin and decide which way they're going. And this time we were turning right, which put me closer to the wall. So I was the first one to hit it, and I had my hand on my gasser's leg, full throttle in it, and we hit the wall, and that was the end of my cruiser racing career. It was one night. And that was it. That was all. Ask Nick Ballman. He'll tell you the whole story.
It's fun.
Yeah, I could see it definitely being very interesting for sure. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and those things, there's not much crumple. There's not much crumple. They're like old cars. Like, I mean, that's steel. It's steel to concrete hitting that wall. It's not a safer barrier. Like, it hurts.
Yeah, you're soaking up all that energy for sure. There's nothing there that's crumbling up, and it goes right to you.
Especially in them older cars,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and of course they're welded up, and you got to at least make them last.
You're the suspension.
Yeah, they're again stock old cars, just trying to make them hold up.
Well, I think your wife might be calling you out here, Darren. I'm assuming that's her, but she put on here that she wanted to be the person steering. So,
okay.
I'm assuming
that's her. Yeah.
So, you told her that you said gas, but she's calling you out and said, nope, she's driving. So,
I can already. She'd need a mic to tell me what to do for sure.
Well, guys, I got a customer walking up to my window. I hate to cut this short on you, but I do got to go. But it's been a great talking to you. I hope you guys have a great Saturday.
Thanks for the call, Jordan.
Bye.
Which Jordan was at our grand opening. Phil, if you want to kind of talk about it a little bit, I can maybe pull up some pictures here. If I can do this without deleting us, we'll see if that works.
Yeah, we opened up our new building, the Mel Hambelton Auto Spa, the new detail building and stuff. We had invited the people at the dealership and also the contractors to help us build a building and everything. And so we had a good time over there with that on last Thursday night. So, and Jordan came and cooked for us from that part. And not sure what picture that was there, Josh, but
it was one of those model.
One of the model cars. Okay, yeah.
Model cars. So this was talk about this Mercury here for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a 79 Mercury Capri with a 4-cylinder turbo. It's kind of based off the Mustang kind of a situation, but the Mercury side of that too. And that's like the guy said, you take the 4-cylinder EcoBoost we got today, back in 79, that is kind of what they introduced as what the EcoBoost is today. A lot of different technology there in those two cars and everything else too, but pretty cool little car we had there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, a good event and stuff. Just excited what the detail shop's going to take us to and everything else. And one of our last things we had, back there in the back, that light blue car, there's our Ford GT that we delivered in 18. And Brian Petty was great to bring that car out and spend the evening with us and stuff too. And good to see that car again from that part. So
it was, I don't know, hearing that thing leave and go and just all of them really. It was super exciting for sure. But had a really good night for that grand opening. Had quite a few people come out and join us for that as well. So had a lot of fun. Rex has got a comment for you there. I think that's specifically for you. We'll get that posted up here.
Yeah, Rex, a nice try, but that's okay. That was if you want to look closely there's two maroon cars sitting there together. Pull that one back up, Josh.
All right, we'll go back to that here.
And from that part, so you get that one pulled back up. Yeah, Rex, if that's what you're talking about, that one on the right, that's a wannabe to that car on the left. Is what that is. So just in case you're not checking there too for from that part. So anyway, so that's my GT500 over there, and that's Calvin, one of our managers at the detail shop. That's his Camaro. We put them both in there together to kind of show the difference between the Ford and Chevys and stuff like that. Got to have some good friendly competition, right, guys?
All the time. Yep, all the time.
Hey, so did we get through everything on the competition and everything else too? We kind of got all over the place and everything.
Yeah, that's what we forgot to talk about. What we're giving away or why they're doing it.
So yeah, the icing on the cake, right?
So we've got a couple of different tool sets or a couple different levels of tool sets. You know, if they're going to be in this industry or whether they get into the industry or not, years down the road, they're still going to need tools.
Yep.
So we've got some starter tool sets for first and second place, and then we're going to give away some food gift cards for third, and then I think some Quick Trip gas cards for fourth place, and that's so it's going to be teams of two, each of them doing them. But then at the end of the day, we're going to get everybody back together, you know, to recap the event, the competition, how that went down, and then also just the shadowing of the different technicians and all that stuff. But then as well, we're going to have another bonus to it, is that on the timed event, we're going to have two of our guys do the works competition. And if there's going to be $250 to each person on the team for the winner of that. So if your guys beat our guys, they got an additional $250, or our guys will get $250 for that as well. So just for them to be able to see, see how we do it or how it's done after multiple times as well. So hope they're able to pick something up off of that as well.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Really excited to get those guys out here and just be able to experience what we do for the day, for sure.
Yeah. What'd you say the day, April 20th?
Yep. April 20th is going to be the day that we're going to be doing all this. So they're going to start us. They'll be here about 8:30, I think. Mm-hmm. And then we'll start the first group at 9 from there. So.
Okay. Going to be a fun day. Can't wait to see who the winners are. And I'm sure there won't be any haggling or anything, right?
So we've already got a little bit competition going between the two classes on, maybe called us, and the other class said they were going to beat them even though they didn't. You know, I don't know. I was just trying to stir the pot over there as much as I could. So I don't know if that worked or not long term. So
yeah. So anyway, it's going to be fun.
We
exciting.
appreciate
Can't
you
wait
guys.
for April 20th. Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry, Darren. We appreciate your partnership too, Darren, very much.
Just want to say thank you. Yep, both of you and all of you here at Mel. We really appreciate the support and the partnership that we have.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement from that side, and again, just trying to get these people, the youth, into the industry and decide, hey, this is what I want to do or not, and accelerate that side of things. And I think that'll help you in the long run too. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us for the hour. It's been a lot of fun hearing the different stories, and thanks for all the listeners and callers from that side as well. So
yeah, Phil, Josh, got one comment I want to comment on too. Just come in by Joe. Waiting on inflation to go back down so he can buy his new truck. Joe, I understand what you're saying. Agree with you 100%. And we're starting to see some F-150s on the ground finally from that part. So things are turning around. We got, my opinion is we got another full year of this situation for this inventory levels get situated. And that's what it is. Once the inventory levels come back, then I think you'll see inflation drop quite a bit from that standpoint too. So hang in there tight, Joe, or come out and check out some of the new F-150s we got on the ground already. Might be surprised what we can do for you.
There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate you hanging out. Phil, good luck this evening. Keep me posted and let us know how things work out there. So
I will. Hope the wind has died down out here, so we don't in a windstorm like we've been out here the last days too. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Very good, Darren. Thanks for hanging out, and guys, we'll talk to you later. All right.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.